FM if you're in the city of Philadelphia or South Jersey or Delaware, and you can pick up the signal. Or you can check us out at wordradio.com, which is an airtight connection. You don't have to worry about static or any of that stuff. And if you can't find us there, well, of course, that's fine, Quaisa. You can always find us on social media. See, we are up already on Facebook Live. Look for WURD. That's my word, son. That's my word. And in just a few moments, we'll be up on YouTube as well. Glad to see all of you out this early morning. And I'll be hosting this show solo. Yesterday, Bishop Dwayne David Royster, my co-host, did it by himself. And so today is called Payback. No, not really. It's not really a payback thing. He's got something he has to do. That comes up. It's called life. And so today it'll be myself, this here microphone, and all of you out there in radio land. Right now, Nick Talaferro was just drinking some coffee, just spit it all out. I told him never say radio land. Kuesa is the glue that holds all this together and makes it work. What's up, Kuesa? Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well. Glad to be back on the air this morning. So how was your drive in today?
It was pretty good. No complaints. It's not too hot out. I mean, not too hot. Of course it's not hot. It's not too cold outside. You don't need too much, to bundle up. I did have a little frost on my car, which is weird because I thought it was too warm for that, but I just was able to throw some windshield wiper fluid and, I didn't have to scrape anything. So.
And just kept it moving. So what's the weather feeling like out there?
Not too bad. Not too bad. There's a slight chill, but not cold. Not like it was on Monday. I was angry when that coldness hit me. It wasn't a good feeling. But no, it's really nice. It's refreshing outside, crisp, but not too chilly, not to the bone. You know what I mean?
Spring is in the air, folks. It's coming now to a theater near you. And speaking of theaters, movie theaters opening back up. That's always been my thing. It's been my off day thing to do since I started pastoring. And wondering how you all are feeling about that, going back to movie theaters. And when I go to the show, it's typically kind of socially distant anyway, because there ain't nobody there on the days that I go, middle of the week. But but the real question is, will people start flooding back to places like that are indoor? Outdoor is one thing, indoor is something else. So it looks like Bishop Royster helped me yesterday, teed it up, that today we're going to be talking about all things royal, the royales, so to speak. So hit that Facebook share button if you don't mind. I guess I should do as I say. Not just say as I do. There it is. I just hit the share button myself. Bring others into the conversation. If you are on YouTube Live as well this morning, please share this out with your friends and your families as well. Yeah, so today is about the Royals. Hey, Kuesa, do you have an opinion about the Royals?
Oh, I have so many opinions. Now, which royals are we talking about? Are we talking about Zamunda? Or are we talking about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry?
Well, so I'm going to talk to our guest today about that, because there is a certain amount of, coming to America too. Is it art imitating life or life imitating art? The story. Have you seen Coming to America 2 yet? Kuesa? Hello. I think we may have lost her. Maybe one of our guests is calling in.
Yep, our guest is on the line.
Oh, great. So,
Yes.
but really, have you seen Coming to America 2 yet?
I did see it.
So tell me, is it just me? But kind of the whole Prince Akeem forgetting his own storyline and having to be reminded of him kind of like, breaking from family tradition and having it thrown back in his face. Doesn't it seem kind of like Charles and Harry right now?
Ooh, what an
Messed
interesting
up.
comparison.
That's what preachers do. We find stuff for sermon material. That's how we see things. I'm not kidding you. It hit me last night like, wait a minute. Why have I seen this already? Like, oh, Prince Akeem.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about it on those terms. That's very interesting. That
You like
is.
that, huh?
I
Yeah.
do. I do like that comparison. I think for the royals, well, Harry and Meghan, yeah, I don't. It's sad. It is really sad what's going on, with them, and it kind of bothers me. I think part of what bothers me is that I'm seeing a lot of lack of support from our folks, and it as a black woman, it kind of, I'm like, ooh, ouch, that kind of hurts a little bit. And people are like, oh, I don't feel sorry for her and all this, that you knew what was going to happen. And I'm like, but I think that people have hope, and you fall in love with somebody and you hope that something will change or something will be different. And it's really hard though to squash hundreds of years of privilege and racism and colonialism in just a few years. It's very difficult.
Yeah, well, you know what? So it's all right. So, listen, that you kind of put your finger for me on the pulse of this entire thing in that one statement, and that's what we're going to explore this morning with both of our guests. I mean, it is the fact that marriage itself is hard, no matter who you are, royal or living in a trailer park. It doesn't matter. Marriages are always difficult, and if you have families where one side or the other or both sides kind of bring these other kind of pressures on one person or on the couple or on the children, it's even more difficult when you add race and racism into it. You add privilege. It's all of that, and especially what you said about the way it's hitting you as a black woman. So let's go right to our first guest who is waiting. I haven't spoken to her in some time. So proud of her. She was here in Philly for some time back in the day. She is now the senior editor and staff writer at The Griot and author of the novel Control. Stephanie Gorillas. What's up, Stephanie? How have you been?
I'm good. How are you, Reverend Tyler? Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, thank you for joining us on this morning to share your thoughts. I have been kind of going through my social media thread, and I wanted to see, in particular, folk that I know who are journalists who are writing on this and really kind of taking the time to follow it and study it. And I mean, like, you are top of that list. We'll be talking to Elizabeth Wellington later in the show from Philly.com. And you and her both really been kind of covering this in some important ways. So first of all, just walk us back. So just talk about Meghan and Harry, just the couple, the wedding, their courtship, the wedding. Just kind of, it just seems like yesterday that everybody was having like these tea parties around the wedding. I couldn't get through my own house without all the hats and everything. So just, kind of set this up for us.
I know that for me, with my father died in April 2018, and so the wedding of Harry and Meghan was like good escapism. And so me and my sister did the same thing. We got crumpets and stuff like that to watch the wedding because there was such a positive feeling. But that in the pit of your stomach, you feel like there might be something not right because, she is a woman of color entering a predominantly white space. But yet you wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt. And for the first three months, it seemed okay. And then things suddenly changed when Harry said during the interview she was too good in Australia. That harkened back to what I thought. I thought she was doing too well, and they're not going to like that because she's overshadowing people. And for the past 2 years, I've been saying the narrative around her is not right. And if you notice, it's primarily focused on her as though, she's this evil black woman that has taken this man hostage, and it's not right. And for 3 years, I've been saying, stop othering her, stop with the xenophobic coverage. And it took 3 years for the world to recognize what I've been saying all along. And I don't feel like even saying I told you so or being vindicated. I just feel like finally, can we have a true assessment of what's taking place? Why has the United Kingdom, and the British royal family allow this to happen, because nobody would ever let a black man harass Kate Middleton for 3 whole years the same way that Piers Morgan did to Meghan Markle. And it took a black man yesterday to finally stand up for Meghan Markle, and this is why Piers Morgan no longer has a job.
So that, listen, yesterday was it was kind of stunning, right? I mean, in the world of journalism, I'm certain that there have been times as you as a journalist have wanted to walk off of an interview, or just, kind of been frustrated and want to say some things that professionally you just kind of just, put that down and had that conversation with friends after the show. But I saw the interview that you're referencing. So if people haven't seen it, Piers Morgan, is it Good Morning Britain or something? Well, I don't know the name of the show.
Good Morning Britain.
Right. And so he and his co-host, the co-host is giving Piers Morgan the business because of what you just said. And he just gets up and he says, I'm not going to do this, and walks off mid-interview on live TV. I mean, so they let him go as a result?
The thing is that there's something that happened. I believe reportedly they said that Piers Morgan had to apologize because the day before he was mocking Meghan Markle again. He was saying that he didn't believe that she was suicidal. But the thing is that the network is doing a campaign on mental health, and then you have a host, mocking somebody who has been honest about their mental health issues. And his co-host was like, enough is enough. We get that you don't like her, but this has been going on for 3 years now, and now you're making fun of a woman who expressed that she was suicidal. And what I found striking is the fact that, for 3 years, Piers Morgan has been, harassing Meghan Markle, but he couldn't take it for 5 minutes when somebody gave him the smoke in return. Like, he couldn't take the criticism for 5 minutes, and he stormed off the set like a child. And if a grown man can do that on national TV, what do you believe a pregnant woman is feeling after being harassed? She said she was feeling suicidal. You can't believe that, but yet you stormed off the set because you couldn't take criticism for 5 minutes.
Wow. Excellent point. I mean, one of the things, so I didn't get a chance to see the entire interview. It's on CBS. If you all want to watch it, you can't fast forward it. So I just kind of ran out of time, but I got through a lot of the substance and things that had been kind of reported out. And it was really shocking to hear her talk about, the idea of feeling suicidal. And for, people, as a pastor, obviously I've dealt with hundreds of couples in the last 25 plus years. And I recognize that, marriages for some people, while it can be wonderful for some, for others, the idea of being trapped and not being supported and things of that nature can really bring people to that brink. Can you talk about what she said during the interview about her feelings?
Yes, she said that, she didn't feel supported at all. She said that she went to the palace for help. She said that, I'm not feeling well. I'm really not thinking about taking my own life. And in Meghan's words, she said the palace said, well, there's nothing that we can do for you. It would look bad if you sought help. And so she told Harry, I'm really afraid to be left alone. I can't be left alone. And so, she's crying, but she has to keep up appearances. And Harry said, this is not working. And what makes me really sad is the fact that, the British royal family seemingly just did not care. They cared more about what Archie's potential skin color would be as opposed to the well-being of him and his mother. And that just kind of chills me to the bone. And the fact is that even in the midst of all of this, God is still there. You're a pastor. I always say God is still in control. And the fact that he put Tyler Perry in their path, because Tyler Perry said, I got you. It took Tyler Perry to help a blood-borne prince to offer him a roof over his head and security. I just can't get over the fact the British royal family is worth $1 billion, that they extended no help at all to Harry and Meghan. It took Tyler Perry and his grace to do that. I just feel like even through the worst, when she thought about killing herself, God got her through that. God is good. I know this is not church, but I just want to say, God is good. Because to hear what Harry and Meghan explained during that interview, it was only the blood. It was only God that got them through that. I don't know what else it could have been.
Wow. That is powerful. I mean, it is, well, and it's interesting. So Tyler Perry, who's kind of an American royal, right? I mean, because let's face it, I mean, the idea of royalty in the UK, in America, I mean, we just don't really, we're not really vibing that way. I mean, right? It goes back to the exactly. I mean, for us, we have a concept of royalty, but it is much different. And Tyler Perry has kind of earned his way into that.
Yeah.
And so they're now a part of a different family, right? Oprah Winfrey, your LeBron Jameses, your, Gail, it's a whole different thing. And so you're right, for them to get that kind of support here is extremely important, but it should come from there. Can you talk about the fact that there was much made about the way that the media covered the difference between Kate Middleton doing the same kind of things that Meghan did? I mean, down to avocado, for example, eating avocado.
Yes, when Kate Middleton held her bump, she was seen as, a caring, expecting mother. When Meghan did the same, she was seen as, being vain and performative. When Kate Middleton ate avocado for morning sickness, she was seen as, a caring, earthy mother. When Meghan did the same, she was with the terrorism. And a really good vital point that Meghan said was that fact that for 3 years it's been this story that Meghan made Kate cry as though she was the evil black woman. The tears, the white tears of Kate Middleton was weaponized against her. And what she said is the reverse actually happened. Kate made her cry, but nobody in the palace thought to correct the record. They wanted her to be othered, to be villainized. And she said that was the turning point. And I feel that that's really, really nasty because they know that's why I don't give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to Archie's skin tone. Anybody can make an innocent mistake, but if you are allowing a woman of color to be villainized as making a white woman cry, you know exactly what you do when it comes to race relations. You know exactly what you have to do for these microaggressions to kind of seep it into the atmosphere. You know exactly what you're doing to try and put her back in her place. They wanted to break this woman down in order to uplift Kate Middleton. But it did not have to come at, Meghan Markle's expense. I've always believed that comparison is the thief of joy. What is for you is for you. Kate is meant to be the next future queen. Why did you have to kind of break Meghan Markle down to uplift her?
Oh, well, I mean, I think there's kind of an obvious answer there, right? I mean, the idea if you're threatened by her, then, I mean, when people are threatened, they do act out in some kind of ways that show their own insecurity, where, like you said, according to the line, she has nothing to worry about by Meghan Markle unless, Harry's older brother somehow renounces everything, and that ain't gonna happen. But look, we gotta take a quick break. Can you stay on, Stephanie?
Yes, I can.
Great. So we're talking to Stephanie Gorillas. She is the senior editor at The Griot and has been following this story about the treatment of Harry and Meghan and son Archie and baby-to-be. And their, I don't know what they call it, a Megxit. But we'll be right back. We're going to continue this conversation. This is the Power Hour. Today, Bishop Royster is also, I'm flying solo, so y'all pray for me. This is the Power Hour.
Well, the kids are in bed. Time for a little grown-up quiet time.
What do you mean quiet time? It's your birthday. We're about to party.
Haha, funny. It's gonna have to be a you and me party this year. You know we can't have anybody over.
Well, your mom and dad are coming from Florida. Sis will be here from California. Oh, and a couple of old friends from just about everywhere will be showing up. They should all be here about now.
COVID-19 has changed the way we do things, for now. But social distancing doesn't mean you can't be social. COVID-19 doesn't have to keep us apart. Friends and family are finding new ways to be together, especially with how hard it's hitting the Black community. Vaccines are here, but until enough of us are vaccinated, we still have to be down with slowing the spread. Keep a 6-foot distance, wear a mask, and avoid indoor social gatherings. Learn more about vaccines and slowing the spread at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's Women of Color Her Story Month 2021 in the city of sisterly affection. This is a time to celebrate the power, legacy, and achievement of Black women. Brought to you by New Voices for Reproductive Justice, based here in Philadelphia. This year's theme is Black Majesty. You are invited to 4 virtual events from February 15th to March 15th. Visit womenofcolorherstory.org and WOC Her Story on Facebook and Twitter for full event details.
This literacy tip is brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania. If 2020 taught us anything, it's that scammers follow the headlines. And AARP Pennsylvania wants you to watch out for scammers taking advantage of the biggest headline, COVID vaccines. In the early weeks and months, expect limited supply of vaccines to be available only to certain high-risk populations. So, when you see an ad, email, text message, or you pick up a call and the offer is to resolve your vaccine for a fee, know it's a scam. Listen to your healthcare provider and health authorities for guidance and ignore all else. This literacy tip was brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania.
COVID-19 has changed how we live and how we feel. But now there are vaccines, and they are the first step that lets us get back to the things we miss most, like spreading the word without spreading concern, girls tripping instead of solo sipping, and talking smack with the side of mac and cheese. It's okay to have questions about COVID-19 vaccines. Now, get the facts. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when COVID-19 vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, coming to you live each and every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. This morning, I am hosting solo. That's right. Today, Bishop Dwayne David Royster is paying me back for all those Fridays I take off. So I guess we can call him Dwayne Don't Work on Wednesday Royster. I don't know. We'll see. So listen, folks, you all, let me just get a little of the feedback here on social media. Kateria says, typical portrayal of the evil Black woman. Yep. Arun. So Arun has an interesting take because Arun is actually from India. His family is. I think Arun, were you born here? I think so. But Arun, this is, so your family has a much deeper connection to this because of the extent of the UK and British influence in India. He says, people forget that the royals are the standard bearers of elite white supremacy. The wealth of the royals is literally a vampire's blood bank collected from generations of our ancestors. The myth of the royal requires one to believe that genocide, chattel slavery, and every other evil they employed was their right by God. And then meanwhile, basically, white tears trumped Black pain in the royal family, to Stephanie's point. And Joe Simmons on Facebook wants to know, Rev, when is this segment over? Then I'll tune back in. See, Joe, here's the thing. This is our whole show today. When we finish with Stephanie, Elizabeth Wellington will be on. And, I know for whatever reason, a lot of brothers, we've kind of tuned this out. But I continue to come back to this, that on my timeline, women whose opinions I trust, who I follow, have continually been talking about this story. And it took that to make me go in and look at it. And there is definitely something here that is worth us listening to and understanding. So stay with us this morning, Joe, and anybody else who feels like I want to tune out because this is just some tabloid stuff. This is not that. We have with us Stephanie Guerrillas. She is the senior editor at The Griot. If you're not watching and reading The Griot, you should do so. Stephanie, to that point, why should people be concerned about this story? Because it's not just a tabloid kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand why some people do kind of dismiss it as a tabloid story, but the thing is that the British royal family, they are the head of so many Commonwealth nations, Black and brown people. And if they can't even accept a Black family member, what does that say about, their relations to the Commonwealth nations? We can't have these people exalting themselves. And as like the other person said, these are people who have built their wealth off, genocide, off the back of the pain of so many Black people. And so while it's easy to dismiss it as, simply tabloid fodder, there was a woman who said she was suicidal, and the British royal family said, well, that's not our problem. They cut off her and Harry and said, if something happens to you, what do you want us to do? And these are the people that were meant to, worship and be in awe? No. You have to hold people to account. And it's a modern world. And the things like Michael Jordan said, it became personal to me because I saw a woman of color being demonized in real time. I don't like that at all. Not one bit.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah. During the documentary, he was like, and I took that personally. I took it personally.
I'm just saying, because he don't speak out on anything. I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, that.
Oh, no. Michael Jordan wasn't talking about that. He was talking about like a game, and he was like, and I took that personally. No, that's not. Yeah. He wasn't talking about this. He was just. I was just saying that what he was saying. Like,
I got you. Okay. Well, thank you. I thought I'd miss like some real news, like Michael Jordan develops a social conscience. But I'm sorry. You call me when that happens. I'm sorry, Michael, for the shade this morning, but I can't help it. Listen, but yeah, it is. This is so much bigger than just what I thought it was. Again, first of all, let me just say, the Royals and the rest of the way that the majority media has spun this, I was under the impression, honestly, like most people, that they, being Harry and Meghan, renounced all of their kind of royal stuff. They just, she convinced him to just, let's do the American thing, go out there and earn this on our own. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. They were kind of shown the door. Is that not right?
Yeah, that's what Harry and Meghan said. They said they were cut off, and if you believe in ancestors, he said it was Princess Diana's money that allowed him to make a new life in America. Even from beyond the grave, Princess Diana is still a better parent than Prince Charles. It says everything. Because you can't be a future king and tell your son, well, what a best of luck to you. You're not my problem. I don't care. I will never be enemy with somebody with my own family members. I want to say that, there are family members who are toxic. I'm just not going to speak to you, but I'm not going to invite evil in your direction. And the fact that you cut them off financially, didn't have any security at a time they were getting death threats, that is evil to me. That is evil. And they have a small, innocent, what did that baby do to anybody? I want to know, what did that little poor innocent baby do to anybody that you would unleash the hounds of hell on them? I'm sorry for the language, but I just can't understand. Because you thought he had black blood, that's it. You thought he would be physically black. That justifies the abuse.
Yeah, well, yeah. And listen, I've been kind of thinking, historically, how this, it seems like whenever there's like a black person in the royal court, all hell with America breaks loose, right? Because Queen Charlotte was half black, and she was married to King George, who was the person that the American colonies revolted against and won their freedom from. And so here we are once again, kind of America in revolt. Once you have this, this black royal member. Did Charles actually name the person? I didn't get to that part of the interview. Did he name the person in the family who raised a concern about the complexion of their future child, who's now Archie?
Harry and Meghan said they won't name the person because it's too damaging. So even now, they're protecting that family member. But I think it's going to come out. It always does.
Well, right. Well, can you just please, what is up with Meghan's daddy? This guy.
I think it's another example of how, white people can be attracted to black people and just treat, their black offspring like dirt. He went on the Piers Morgan show when he was still the co-host and said that, I'm going to be here every single 30 days, and until you talk to me, I'm just going to keep running my mouth. What kind of father prioritizes being in the press as opposed to wanting to be a father? He just gives me white supremacist vibes, like, I don't care, like a slave owner vibe, like you're my property. You do what I want. A father doesn't operate that way.
And again, so for folk, a lot of the guys who are listening, and a lot of women as well, maybe for that matter, who don't remember, Meghan's father is white, and her mom is black, And then the dad actually, what I heard him say was, or it was reported out that, like you said, he's basically blackmailing Megan, saying that he has not spoken to her since, I think, before the wedding or since the wedding, and that until she speaks to him, he will keep doing media, basically, I guess, to embarrass them into talking to him.
Yes, he's going to like embarrass her to talking to her. And the thing is that you can see why she cut him off.
Wow. This is just, I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's Jerry Springer, but the thing is that at the heart, it's like very real human emotions. It's very real people. And the fact that they were a pregnant woman felt suicidal, and the only person that she had was her husband in that environment. They took her passport. That's the scary part. To me, that shows an abusive relationship. If you're taking somebody's passport and their keys and you're isolating them, what do you want to happen?
Wow. Well, so let me ask you this, Stephanie. We gotta wrap in a second, but and maybe that last point is really also a part of this. This idea of like talking about somebody feeling trapped, cutting you off, you can't even move around, the world the way that you want. But why is it, do you think, that this story, of all the stories that are out there, it just really seems to be triggering for like just so many Black women in particular? I mean, it's hitting a lot of people, but I've just noticed something very different coming off of the timelines and the writings of Black women that I know as it relates to this story.
I think for many Black women, we can identify with the microaggressions that Meghan Markle has had to put up with for the past 3 years. And the fact is that she's not even the most darkest-skinned Black woman. It's the fact that they know that she has a Black mother, that she has so much proximity to Blackness, then that has allowed them to, completely kind of want to break her down. And we've been there. As somebody else has said, that, her pain meant nothing to them. She was meant to be tokenized, and that was it. And we feel that on a very, very real level. Some of us go to work, and we have to deal with these people who absolutely want to undermine us at every single turn. And that is what happened to her.
Wow. There you have it, Stephanie Gorillas. She is the senior editor and staff writer at The Griot. Check her writings out. And she's also the author of the novel Control. Stephanie, I have to get you back on again. Thank you for your writing. Thank you for your passion, and for getting up to be with us on this morning.
Thank you, Reverend Tyler. Have a good one.
All right. Woo! Yeah, Tawanda, you are right. That. I mean, we can actually take that last soundbite and just make that into a promo for this entire conversation. Sarah McIntyre says on Facebook, thank you, Stephanie. Good comments. Wow. That's heavy. And I think, there is, again, I would just say, again, as a Black man, that had it not been for a lot of the things trending in my timelines, I probably would have just, like a lot of guys, just missed it and dismissed it as, that's just some drama. That's just like National Enquirer stuff. But this is why we have to take time to hear different perspectives and hear from each other. It's like on the professional sports side, which is the just shut up and dribble. I think that's kind of a fair way of kind of thinking about this. It's Meghan should be grateful. This prince brought her in out of slummy Los Angeles. Mind you, she was already wealthy and a star of her own. 7 years on a hit show. Not like she needed Harry. Harry kind of married up, if you can believe that. Right? But it's you just ought to be grateful that they let you in. And here you are out here complaining about how hard it is with your life, with your avocado toast, your personal chauffeur, and your butlers and your maids. It's like on the NBA side, it's you basketball players, you got the whole life, everybody fawning over you. Just shut up and dribble. Nobody wants to hear about the fact that you got stopped by some cops who didn't know you and they degraded you. You got to be blessed that we gave you access You see? You understand? That's kind of the, you know, it's kind of what's at work here. And so we got to support each other in moments like this. Because I'm going to tell you, one thing Stephanie said, she said what I was thinking, which is that, man, if they do that to a black woman who looks like Meghan Markle, good God from Zion. I mean, Meghan could actually, she's half white. And she's closer to her dad's complexion, the white guy, than she is to her mom's complexion, who's pretty dark brown, as I recall. I've only seen her that once at the wedding. But as I recall, she was not like really fair-skinned, light-skinned, as we would say, the black community, you know. She's like really light. And so you got a person who is like almost as white as you can get as a black person. And if people are thinking that way about her, then what in the world are they thinking about like a Venus or Serena when they walk in the room? I mean, part of this is the unnerving ways in which what we tend to forget, I think, as black folk is just kind of like what blackness does to white folk when you walk in a room. I mean, it's like you're not thinking about it. You just walk in, you're being you. You know, you're being you. And for some reason, it just like upsets the whole apple cart with people. It's like the folk just lose their mind. I want to cut them off from security. And listen, don't take that lightly, you all. They're part of the royal family. There are people out there who are sick in this world, who want to hurt people for far less things. And this is why we have Secret Service to protect folk like, you know, who've been president, after they're president, and their families, to keep monitoring them, because there are people who know that if they hurt them, they can make whatever political statement they want. So this is extremely important. She's got an infant and another one on the way. And as her mama, you know, that mama bear kicks in. It's like, yo, don't mess with my cubs. You're going to cut them off? You're playing with their lives now. And a mother's going to take that serious. As she said, her children didn't create this world that makes people want to hurt them just because they are connected to the royal family. And so the family should do everything within their power to protect them, regardless of how they feel. Man, I'm telling you, this is just... And again, I say, if this is what happens to Meghan Markle, what happens to the woman or the man on the street? We got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Elizabeth Wellington. And yes, this is our show today. We're delving into the interview. And what about Oprah? Man, Oprah still got the chops. They said Oprah was a meme machine the other day. Not meme, but meme. There's like all kind of memes with her facial expressions. Oprah was like, they said what? We'll be right back on the other side of this break. It's the Power Hour.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
COVID-19 has highlighted the need for digital equity and internet adoption programs. Comcast's Internet Essentials program is designed to connect families to low-cost, high-speed internet and laptops so students can be ready for anything. Since 2011, Comcast has connected 4 million students from low-income families to the internet through its Internet Essentials program. Learn more about how Internet Essentials is connecting students.
Clark Roofing Company has over 30 years of quality roofing experience, providing exceptional customer service, honesty, and professionalism. Clark Roofing is a second-generation master roofer, installing top-quality roofing systems for commercial and residential properties across the tri-state area. For fast, dependable service, call 215-365-ROOF. That's 215-365-7663.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Mattress Warehouse's Clean Shop Promise. Some volume picks up a bit southbound 95, Cottman down through Bridge, through the construction, again Allegheny through Girard, northbound moving fine. Westbound volume, some slowing Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill itself both ways, east and westbound. Not a bad ride early on this morning. Boulevard Route 1 southbound, some volume there, building between Broad and Fox, again through construction. PA Turnpike, Blue Ridge 476 moving fine, 55 northbound north of Deptford into 42, getting a bit busy there now this morning. Save up to 50% on almost everything this week at Mattress Warehouse and get a free next day delivery on all orders over $7.99. Mattress Warehouse home to bed match offers a 1-year price guarantee. Visit sleephappens.com for a location near you. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Crystal Cly.
Good morning. Absolutely beautiful forecast as we move forward today. Mostly sunny skies and a forecast high temperature of 65 degrees. Into tonight, we're still clear. 48 is the low temperature, so very mild into your Thursday. Thursday, partly cloudy and our warmest day yet, a high of 72 degrees, a touch breezy as well. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Crystal Cly with your most accurate forecast. Count on it.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Well, welcome back to the Power Hour this morning, hosted solo by myself, Mark Kelly Tyler. And listen, check this out. This is news that you can use. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black-owned woman business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. $5,000. The deadline for submission is March 15th. That's coming up, just 5 days. Check this. This is the important part. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business that you love. That's really going to be a great contest. If nothing else, hey, 2 hours on-air pitch party, that may open some doors for you. So let's do our part. Wow, boy, on social, you all are like really getting into it. Raphael, you said that Meghan was a mulatto, therefore acceptable by the royal family, but let's be honest, obviously not. Maybe they thought they could handle it, but even, that was too much. It was unnerving to people. It's just, ugh. Something about when Black folk walk in the room, some folk just lose their mind. I'm not exactly sure. It's not like they haven't had a Black queen before. Her name was Charlotte. Bridgerton, all you all watching Bridgerton, she's based on the real Queen Charlotte. She was a sister. She was married to King George, the one that America beat. Yeah, so he was consoled by a Black woman after losing the American colonies. So it's like y'all been down this road before. It's not like you don't have Black blood in you. I'm sorry, just as an American, this whole idea of the royal stuff it just drives me crazy. So somehow you're just born into it, whether you deserve it or not. I don't think so. You can just be an idiot and you're royalty. No, this is America. You got to earn your way into royalty. Not like you just be born into it. Donald Trump was just born. Oh, never mind. Excuse me. Let's move on. I just undercut my whole argument. Joining us now is a Philadelphia-based columnist with the Enquirer. She writes about gender, race, fashion, culture, and wellness. She's one of my favorite writers at the Inquirer. Why don't you welcome to the program Elizabeth Wellington. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear. So, I've been following you, and seems that you got an opinion or two about this whole kerfluffle out of Britain.
Following Megan since the beginning. I mean, I have to admit, I was one of those sisters who was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that we're actually going to have like a black princess." Not so much because I think royalty is the be-all, end-all, but because we all know that British, we got our nasty racist ways from Britain. So, they're colonizers, they're rapists, their whole country. They were the original colonizers, right? The original rapists, the original racists. And so it's interesting that, to me, at the time, historically, I thought it was very interesting that we would have a black princess. Because we can, go back and forth about whether or not Meghan Markle is black or mulatto. Actually, I have a piece, essay about that coming up soon about, the one-drop rule and what makes her black and the history and et cetera, et cetera. But we've seen her mother, and, her mother is black, and Meghan Markle never said she was anything but black. I mean, she claimed her blackness. So she never said, she didn't pull a Tiger Woods and say she was Caucasian or something else. She said that she was black. So it doesn't, and black people have a history, of accepting black people of all races, shades, and colors. So that's the first thing that kind of throws me off this time, because black people are like, well, she's not black. She never said she was black. She worked in a show, but she never hit her mother. And she never said she was anything but black. So for me, that's all I needed, to be excited that there was going to be a black princess, just for history's sake. And so then after that, we saw, her, there was lots of stuff yesterday, but after she had Archie, and people were saying, oh, well, she said that, nobody cared about her. And you could tell that she was stressed out then. And then the Oprah bombshell, to me, one of the most interesting things about that is that Oprah herself is a black woman. So basically, you have two black women who were saying, "Nah, we're not having it." And the subtext of the text of that is very powerful, because this could have never happened without Oprah's platform. Because as well as I know, that it would take a platform and a black woman and the ability to ask the questions and then respond the way Oprah did, in a way that seemed so obvious to us, like when they were asking about her skin color. There's we know in the community that we do that, but that's a different way. When we do it, we're not saying, and black people understand the nuance, right? We're not saying, we're not asking about the color so we cannot accept her. It's kind of like, it's colorism, but it's more like, oh, that's kind of interesting, as opposed to, well, we're concerned that this person's too dark because they won't fit in. Now, New Orleans and historical things are different, but you know what the subtext of that text was when she said it. So there's so many things wrapped up in this, and I have to be team Meghan, team Oprah on this, because we're undergoing a lot of reasons why we're going through a lot of this racial tension is because black people say things like, yo, this is racist, this is really foul, what are we going to do about it? And white people start with, oh, well, it's really, I need proof that that's happening. And then when you give them proof, oh, it's really not that bad. You're just making a big deal. That's not our intention. And you're like, yeah, right. So I think that this situation is interesting, because how do you, to me, once you're discussing the Prince Harry's children, and don't forget, they stripped Meghan of her title. So she was the Duchess of Sussex, right? So she's no longer a Duchess. And they're basically saying her kids can't be Prince and Princess. That's like you said, going into the commercial, that's a basic, that's what she's born, that's what they're born into. Right. Like you're born into that. But, that's like me being my father's child, like, you don't get to be a Wellington. What are you talking about? Like, I got the DNA. So
right.
It's so egregious that you know, they're rewriting the rules. It's not much different from what they're doing in Atlanta and Georgia. If you guys have been keeping up with, you know, I'm sure you all have been keeping up with what's going on with the voting rights in Georgia. It's like you get close to something and we just go stop and rewrite the rules.
Well, right.
You know,
and
that's what I find so egregious about this whole thing.
And that is the thing, right? You're right. It's the rewriting of the rules. So let me just say this: we're running out of time, but please respond. No, it's okay because we got to make room for Solomon. But I just want to just ask you this: please react to the statement that was made by Buckingham Palace that said the family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. So they're going to handle this privately. But as someone pointed out, there's a full-blown investigation of Meghan, quote unquote, bullying the staff. Can you just, I mean, what's up?
I mean, that's just an example of, you know, gaslighting, and it's the history of racist countries, right? It's the history of racism. You know, I say that you did this. If it had been a black, like you said, if it had been Meghan or a black person, and if she had, I mean, not that it's right to be nasty to the staff, but I'm sure she's not the only princess or someone who lives in Buckingham Palace who was nasty to the staff. I'm sure that happens all the time. It's part of being a princess. Not the best part of being a princess, but the part of being a princess. But the fact that everyone wants to handle their racial problems undercover, because people, you know, I have a piece about that, kind of alluding to that in a piece about, how we're going to remember the coronavirus. We did year-end essays about that. And people don't want to remember their racist behavior because it looks poorly on them, right? So how can you, and that's the bottom line. So now your behavior against me, no one wants to pay for it because collectively people look bad. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's baloney, and they know it's baloney. But the interesting thing, the reason that Oprah's interview was so powerful is because Oprah is so powerful, and they know on some level because Oprah's loved worldwide that they may have a problem on their hands because you know. It's one thing to be considered historically racist. It's one thing to be actively behaving racist and sitting on Oprah's television show, which they showed in the UK on Sunday.
That look, you just said it. Yeah, I mean, look, it is Oprah, and Oprah is all of that, and it lends instant credibility to this story. Folks, listen, this is Elizabeth Wellington. You can read her thoughts on race, culture, fashion, gender on Philly.com. Great columns. I want to thank you, Elizabeth, for being here on today, and we'll get you back on the show.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Hey, listen, folks, tomorrow Bishop Royce will be back with me, and thanks, Stephanie Gorillas. Thank you, Kwesa. Thanks to all of you for your social media input on today and tomorrow, I promise. We'll talk about other things, but this was a very important conversation. Hey, stay tuned for Solomon Jones and Wake Up with Word. It'll be on in just a moment. We are out. Peace.